Yo YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim, he is AC. This is a Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. And keep in mind throughout this entire video, we are Phillies fans because today, Jayson Werth, longtime Philly, signed a 7-year, $126 million deal with the Washington Nationals. It is considered the highest paying deal for a free agent outfielder in MLB history. This for a guy that batted something like .294 with 27 home runs. Now, AC, explain to the people why this is a bad deal, because it is a bad deal.
This is a horrible deal because, yes, Jayson Werth is young. Yes, he did have a good year, but he's only had, one good year? Yeah, pretty much.
He's had 3. He hit 24, 36, and 27 home runs. So he's had a few good years, but I don't know if it warranted this.
Well, yeah, but you look at, you got to look at your definition of good. Everybody has a different definition of good, and I'm pretty sure to 9 out of 10 people, this guy is not good enough to have $126 million for 7 years thrown at him. That's $18 million a year. That's more than Derek Jeter is expected to get. I don't understand it.
Yeah, Jeter signed that deal yesterday to make like 15. Worth's worth more, I think, at this point. But the issue for me is the Nationals are a small market team who we've seen over the past few years wants to make a splash. They tried to sign Teixeira. He is worth that type of money. Mark Teixeira, hands down, he can field, he can hit. He is worth that type of money. Ryan Zimmerman, he is worth that type of money. Jayson Werth, not so much. If you look at comparable outfielders, you're talking about Jason Bay signed for $16 million. Probably not worth it. We don't know because he was too busy being hurt last year. Matt Holliday signed for $18 million, and the general reaction was the Cardinals bid against themselves, which in a sense is what I think the Nationals did here. Obviously, the Nationals have to overpay to get people, which is kind of a problem considering that they don't have a huge payroll flexibility, and now the payroll for next season, a majority of it is tied into Jayson Werth and a guy who won't be playing 3/4 of the year, Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, people look at this team as, look at this, they're coming along as a team. Well, yeah, but how much more money do they have to play with? This is now the New York Yankees. They can't go out and pick free agents from anywhere and everywhere. It just doesn't work like that. They just don't have the money to do that, and at this point, you got to look at up and down their roster and the payrolls that they're making, Jayson Werth in particular, and saying, well, maybe he isn't worth that much because, like you said, they do have to overpay to get guys, and it's not going to work if they're going to just keep forking out money like that.
Yeah, and I understand the Nationals needed to make that splash. They need to put this team on the map. But, really, adding Jayson Werth right now, is that going to make them a contender next year?
No, it's not going to have an immediate impact. It's not going to affect. It's going to affect next year. In my opinion, they're probably going to get a few more wins, and they're probably going to show themselves as, okay, yeah, we can win against good teams, and okay, yeah, we're not a tiny little small market team anymore. Well, they still are a small market team, but they're not, irrelevant to the entire MLB like they used to be. But it's not going to have an immediate impact as far as next season or even maybe the season after that.
Yeah, and just because you're looking to make a splash and just because you have the money to make a splash doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and make a splash just because there's someone out there. Jayson Werth, I look at this as another deal of a former Philly, Aaron Rowand. I think it was Keith Law or someone, when Aaron Rowand signed with the Giants, they said, wow, the Giants had some money and they almost felt like they were inclined to spend it, and they just didn't spend it on the right guy. If you look at what comparable people were saying about Jayson Werth, the money, I can see it. I wouldn't pay it, but I can see it. The money is not as much of an issue as the years. 7 years. We heard last week that Jayson Werth was considering accepting a 3-year extension from the Phillies. Now, that's a bit short, but we heard the teams that were in it, the Red Sox and the Tigers, were offering 4 years, potentially 5. Now, the Nationals just come in here with 7, and it absolutely blew me away when I saw this deal, because the bottom line is Jayson Werth is a good player, but I think we had Nick Cale from 97.5 The Fanatic on yesterday. He said it. Jayson Werth has benefited from hitting behind Ryan Howard, and he's not going to have that same benefit there. He's probably going to be asked to hit cleanup, have Ryan Zimmerman back him up, and 7 years. He will be 38 at the end of the contract. 7-year deals for outfielders. Not only do they not make sense, because it really isn't that hard not to find an outfielder, but it's just a lot of years. And for a guy who I don't know exactly what position they're planning on playing him. I would think right field. But at some point, he's going to slow down, and you could have got away with 5 or 6 years, I think, and they just kind of threw those on so they knew he was going to accept it, when really, I just don't think they needed this guy.
No, 7 years is just, it's really not necessary to have 7 years. Like you were saying, no other team even thought about giving him 7 years. You look at, there was better options out there. I keep thinking about Carl Crawford.
Yeah, and I mean, Carl Crawford makes even more sense now. The team lost Adam Dunn, who said they should have just kept Adam Dunn. I mean, I would take Adam Dunn over Jayson Werth any day of the week. As much as Adam Dunn is criticized for striking out and not being a great fielder, it's pretty hard to find Ryan Howard at the plate in more than one team, and they had it. Adam Dunn goes out there consistently. He's hit 40 home runs or close to it for like 6 seasons. He'll drive in 120. I mean, you're not getting that production from Werth.
Those kind of numbers consistently. I mean, he's a very streaky hitter, as we, being Phillies fans, know very well. He doesn't hit consistently well, and Carl Crawford would be a much better option for pretty much any team that's looking for an outfielder this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carl Crawford might have been in the 22 or 23 million range, which is probably their issue. Although I think an extra $4 million a year, what the hell? They should have gone and gotten Adrian Gonzalez. But
yeah, they're forking out 7-year contracts for $126 million. What's they could go get Carl Crawford? I think it's worth it.
Yeah, in 2009, Jayson Werth hit 36 home runs and 99 RBIs. He's never hit 100 RBIs. Now I think it's hard to find someone who makes $18 million that's never hit 100 RBIs. That's not a pitcher, but you found one here. Now, in 2010, he hit. Now, I mean, he was missing some of the guys in the lineup a lot of the year. I understand that he did struggle a lot of the year, but I mean, someone struggling a lot of the year shouldn't really be an excuse to give them more money. So a disturbing trend I noticed was in 2009 when he hit those home runs, he was just swinging to drive the ball. In 2010, it almost looked like he changed his batting stance to sit in the back of the box and try and hit a home run every time. Now, maybe that was just because he was in his contract year. Maybe it wasn't, and we'll never know until this deal ends. Now, I just don't think this will end up being a very good deal, and I think the Nationals will regret, maybe not this year or next year, but 3 or 4 years into the deal when they have 4 years left and they're thinking, wow, I wish we could have gotten out of this contract. I think they'll regret it.
I think it will come back to haunt them. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Jayson Werth can surprise a lot of people, but I think you're absolutely right. Maybe he'll go back to his old ways of hitting this year just because he's got 7 years on his contract now under his belt.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the bottom line here is Jayson Werth's a good player, but $18 million is for a hell of a player, and the Nationals need pitching much more than they need hitting. They need to add pitchers on to Strasburg and Zimmerman. At some point, they're going to need... That's Jordan Zimmerman. They're going to need to add years on to Ryan Zimmerman's contract, and they're going to probably at some point need to lock up Bryce Harper long term. So the money they're getting here, it just doesn't make sense to me, and that's the bottom line. I'm Timmy's AC. It's the Cash Killer and AC Sports Report. We'll catch you later.